Hello, my peoples. What's up? Welcome back to Shelf Stories, channel that tells tales from games, books, and life. I am your host, Jason. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today is a book chat about one of my favorite fantasy series, book series ever, which is the Dresden Files. So the Dresden Files released its 16th book, which is Peace Talks, back in July of 2020. As I record this in September 2020, we're going to get Battleground, and I can't wait for it. And I'm really excited about it, but I'm trying to find more people to talk about it with, but I find that, go ahead and pick up this 15 book series might be a little bit of a difficult ask. So, I made this video as a sort of, previously on, so to speak. So maybe you've read the series and you don't really remember what happened, or maybe you read a couple of books in the series and dropped it for whatever reason, or maybe you've never read anything and you just want to, get a real feel for what happens. So I'm hoping that this is the video for you. I'm going to be running through the major plot points and characters and all that good stuff of all the books, hopefully in 10 minutes or less. Before we get going, just a very, very light spoiler warning. I'm not going to divulge any kind of major secrets, but like any good trailer for a movie, you got to show the people something, right? So I'll be talking about a few minor details, just a heads up on that. And also a heads up, I'm going to be using card art from the Dresden Files Cooperative card game, which is full of great artistic pieces. Don't worry about the game text or anything like that. I will have a separate video dealing with all that. Just enjoy the story that will unfold. So the Dresden Files tell the tale of Harry Dresden. There he is. Before I get into who exactly he is, get a load of this cover, right? You would never know that the book is full of, high fantasy and monsters and fireballs and wisecracking jokes and all that. That's a really boring cover, and I'm not really sure why that one and all the books have such a boring cover. Someone's going to have to explain that one to me. So he's a wizard detective. He goes around Chicago. He solves crimes. He advertises himself as a wizard detective. However, the world does not know about magic. It's very kind of under the radar, so they think he's kidding. But we as readers know that he is not kidding. He uses magic to solve crimes, and he also enjoys the occasional beer at Max. But what you're really here for is, he casts a lot of fire magic, and he blows things up, but good. The Dresden Files is action-packed. You are going to get two usually more cinematic set-piece battle scenes where Harry blows stuff up and lives up to his namesake. Speaking of the books, let's get into them. So, not going to go book by book. I'm kind of have them grouped into sections. I do think that there's some themes that emerge and, kind of a rhythm emerges as you get through, the different books. The first 5 books are pretty basic in terms of what Harry does, lays a lot of track, the guts of the series is definitely laid out here. So, in addition to solving crimes, he is fighting a rogues gallery of villains, from werewolves to fairies to giant toad monsters and vampires. So, that is Bianca over here. She at one point throws a massive dress-up masquerade ball, and Harry dresses up like that. That should tell you a lot of what you need to know about how Harry interacts with the monsters. It doesn't go very well. He's very wise with them. He gets himself beat up a lot, especially early in the series, but is definitely for our reading pleasure. Along the way, we meet Harry's best friends. So, a theme that runs through the books is that small people hide, big potential and can make a big impact in the world. Billy and George are ordinarily D&D geeks who do their thing, but when called upon, they turn into werewolves that can help Harry out. Another friend, one of Harry's best friends, is Michael. Here he is looking like Bob Vila, but when called upon, he becomes a holy warrior of the cross who can kick butt when he absolutely has to. The Dresden Files also has a lot of strong women characters who play very central roles. So you have Susan Rodriguez, who's the intrepid reporter. You also have Karen Murphy, who is the cop, who you will get to know very, very well as the series goes on. You could tell they're butt kickers because, they're holding guns and they they don't have happy looks in their faces. And finally, what good fantasy series is complete without recurring bad guys? So we get introduced to them in book 5, Death Mask, Nicodemus, the fallen angel, with his daughter. Look at how beautiful that daughter is, Deirdre. We are definitely going to be hearing from them. Book 5, book 10, book 15, and beyond. So this next cluster of books, there's 6 of them here. I think that it gets a little bit more deep. This Harry's still doing the same thing. He's still in Chicago. He's still, solving crimes and, blowing up bad guys. But his inner circle starts to grow, and I think there's a lot more seeds planted that will flower, a little bit later on. So Harry gets a Padawan, and she's here and she's running from monsters, and not looking very impressive. But as we find out, there's more to her than meets the eye. Harry also gets a dog, and that dog follows him around everywhere. Starts off not very impressive, with a name like Mouse, not going to be very impressive, but there's more that meets the eye to him too. We also meet Harry's mentor, who is clearly only an old man in overalls, right? And also as the series moves along, we start to lose some characters that are familiar. So like any good series, once you start losing them major players, you know that things are getting real. But not too real, because Harry rides a dinosaur. And lest we forget, in book 10, which is Small Favor, we get Nicodemus, and he is back with raising the stakes by bringing in the dreaded ex-wife. And then we get into changes. You know how some fantasy series just, they move along book to book and nothing really happens. It's kind of like, the characters are mostly staying the same where they are. Wheel of Time. Oh, whew, sorry about that. Definitely not in the Dresden Files. Changes really turns a whole lot of the world on its axis, turns a whole lot of Harry's world on its axis. Harry loses a lot. Loses his car, loses his house, and a lot more than that. Afterwards, Harry has to pick up the pieces. And boy, does he pick up the pieces. And if you don't want the spoiler on what happens post changes, then you're pretty good. You can go ahead and shut the video off right now. But if you do, you will know in the later books, so we have a couple of more in this little grouping, Harry levels up and becomes even more of a powerful butt kicker. And not only is Harry leveling up, Molly's leveling up too. It's not often that you can say that the best book in the series is the 15th. But I really, really enjoyed Skin Game. Skin Game was a really fast-paced caper. It paid off a lot of track that was laid previously, especially with the unholy family over here. They're all together and they're all invading hell itself. So you have heightened magic, heightened stakes. Harry's more powerful, the villains are more powerful, and along the way Harry meets somebody who is pleased to meet you. Won't you guess his name? So where else can the series possibly go? The 16th book was Peace Talks, and, it kind of laid some track itself, reset things after, the big events of the previous books. And right around the corner, we get Battleground, which I have not read Battleground yet. I will have a review of both Peace Talks and Battleground because I feel like they come as one after I read Battleground, but I have a feeling that book is going to change even more. Changes was very important for Harry and some the people around him, but I have a feeling that Battleground is going to change the game for a lot more people than that. All right, so I hope this video has whet your appetite, got you excited to go ahead and either reread the books or just, get ready to read Peace Talks and Battleground or pick up the series for the first time. So I have a little bit more Dresden Files content coming on this channel, maybe posted by the time you see this video. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Please go ahead and hit me up on YouTube, right here down in the comments, Shelf Stories BGL. That is my handle on Twitter. I also have a Shelf Stories Facebook group. I have a lot of ways to be contacted if you want to join the conversation. Tell me about Harry. I know this is mostly board gaming, but I'm looking for people to talk about the Dresden Files with. So that may be a little bit of a selfish motivation for me to make this video. This is Jason reminding you that if you can change your mind, you can change the world. So until next time, later, everybody.